Hi, this is Jamie Grunwell from GoSafety Solutions. In this short video, I'm going to talk about safe operating procedures, SOPs. So if we go to our index, you can see if we go down to number 4, information training and supervision, we've got a procedure there, we've got the work induction checklist, got a training register. You can complete all your training, put all your training in there. And then we've got a safe operating procedure template. So just a thing with the training register, make sure you put all your training in there. Any inductions you've done from other companies, put those in there as well. So any training done on any other site that's external from the business that you're working in, ask them for evidence of that training so you can put them in the training register and also keep them on file. But we're going to talk about the safe operating procedures today. So if we go here, we've got a template in the health and safety system. So the safe operating procedure is basically it's the safe way to do the job, pulling in all information you know, and it's good to look at WorkSafe documents as well to make sure you've got some of the detail in there, all the relevant detail of the safe operating procedure. In safe operating procedures, you'd develop and review with staff in toolbox meetings. Make sure you review them 6 monthly or annually, depending on how often you do the job. Maybe you only climb ladders once a year, so you're only going to do the SOP, safe operating procedure, and review it before you climb the ladder or go on a roof. You're only going to do it before then, or use elevated work platforms. So it's a procedure for doing high-risk tasks that you're doing on a daily basis. If it's a really seriously high-risk task, then you should be thinking about a JSA as well. So, safe operating procedure, you just fill in the details, name of workers who developed the SOP, hazards associated, you can put other hazards in, the PPE to be worn, record other PPE, any safety precautions with a SOP, and then the procedure you've got to follow, everybody's got to follow in regards to the SOP. Okay. At the bottom, anybody who's part of the review or developing the SOP, just sign and date their name or initial and date their name to state they're involved and they know everything that's in the SOP. If we go to a completed SOP, go to this ladder SOP, you can see hazards, here the PPE to be worn, just a picture to remind you what SOP it is, planning, things to consider before using the ladder, what you need to do ascending and descending the ladder to be safe, some specific advice for step ladders, what to do with other people around, what you've got to think about with them. And when you've done the SOP or reviewed the SOP, do it in a toolbox meeting or just before you do the job. Make sure people sign and date to say they've been part of the review process and part of the being trained on how to use the SOP. Okay. Again, GoSafety has developed SOPs that we can give organisations. If you're not going to do something in the review process, cross it out to say you're not going to do it. If you're going to do anything additional, make sure you write it in there. If the wording's not quite right, feel free to cross it out and make it your own. Like all GoSafety procedures and processes, they're kind of 90-95% correct. You need to make the procedure your own while you're reviewing it. Once you've reviewed it, sign and date, and then it's a live procedure. Even if it's got writing all over it, then it's a live procedure. If you want those changes for next time, send them to me at GoSafety and I'll make sure those changes are in place. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. So it's a safe operating procedure, or they say in short, a SOP, SOP. Once people have been trained on how to do a SOP, and they really should do a competency assessment. So technically, it's somebody who's done the training for adults, special training for adults. That's a unit standard that should have to do a training on doing a competency assessment. Usually, if it's a manager or a senior person, that's better than nobody. And basically, you're watching the person using the ladder, making sure that they've used the knowledge that they've obtained and the skills they've obtained from being trained on the SOP, and part of that review on the SOP, and they're showing that they're safe to use, in this case, the ladder. You get to the bottom here, it'll say whether they're a trainee, competent to operate under supervision, 3, skilled, can operate in all conditions, 4, extremely skilled, can train others. You circle that, date assessed, assessor signature, operator signature. And if, say, they're a learner on a ladder, they might be competent to operate under supervision, so you circle a 2. And then you go, the next assessment we should do in a month's time to see if they've gone up to the next level, or 2 months' time. Okay? And at a minimum, you should be doing a competency assessment on all your staff, on all different SOPs, at least on an annual basis, especially when they get number 3 or 4, and you should be checking annually to make sure they've gone up a level. And you can actually rate this to their pay as well. You can say, oh, when they get to a 3, they go up a level, or 4, they go up another level. Okay, just quickly, I just want to go to the health and safety system. You can see the training register. So if we go down to 4, you can see training register. If we open that up, make sure on the training register you put the level. So you might want to, if you go over here to competency assessments, you can write a level, of what level competency they're at. You can also put some detail in there about when they need to be assessed next, but you want to be doing it on an annual basis at the minimum. So training register is pretty straightforward. Name, ZQA number, health and safety induction, some particular SOPs here that they've trained. Okay, external training, competency level of the internal training they've done, and client induction. So if you've gone to work for a big client or a large organisation, they've done their own induction, say, hey, can I have a copy of that induction? And write this on here when they've done an induction. Okay, pretty straightforward. One other thing with the SOPs is you can get some of the competency assessments are specific. So if they're operating forklifts, there's a SOP for forklifts. There's actually a competency assessment specially for forklifts, and especially for some plant. But if there isn't one, just use the general competency assessment. Okay, hopefully that's all answered all the questions for SOPs. You see you can write your own SOP. There's a template. You can change SOPs around to suit your own needs, which you're best to do, customize them. Okay, that's it for now, and see you next time.